Good morning, crafters, and welcome to Creative Moments by G. I'm Georgia, and so happy that you are with us today. We have a terrific show for you. We will be working with a floating strip card. Now, a couple things make this a really cool card. One, you can use your scraps, right? You just have to decide how you're going to cut them. Another really cool thing is what we're going to do today, we are actually going to do our strips, adhere our strips to a plastic sheet, and we're going to make 2 cards out of that one mat. So I think you're really going to like that. I want to welcome anyone who is a new crafting friend with us. We certainly appreciate you hopping on. Let us know where you're checking in from. What state are you from? What's the weather like? We would love to hear that. And I say we because Maudie, my sister, is over in the chat room. She has all the answers and she just wants to chat with you. We go on this journey together and we have so much fun sharing inspiration with everyone. Now, we share inspiration on Tuesdays and Thursdays live, so we hope you can also join us on Thursday at 7 p.m. So I say, let's go ahead and head down to the crafting table. Hey, Susan, welcome. I want to remind everyone that, what was I going to say? Oops. I forgot what I was going to say because I saw Susan logged on. If you are watching the rebroadcast, thank you so much. We appreciate your comments. So please, after this video is over, take a moment and leave us a comment. And remember to like, share, and subscribe. Help us grow our channel. Hey, Carol, so happy that you've stopped by. So let's head down to the crafting table and let's get started. Okay, let me show you a floating strip card. Isn't that gorgeous? It looks like it's just floating. We have used some scraps, but we cut them evenly and we put this together. Oh, it is such a fun technique to do. Now make sure that you stay with us because we have another beautiful card to show you. Like I said, we're going to make 2 cards. Remember, you don't have to take down the measurements because that will be listed over on creativemomentsbyg.com. Just simply click on my blog. Welcome, Catherine from Canada, and Patricia and Dawn. So happy that you're with us. Well, the first thing that you need is you need to get a plastic sheet. Now, can you see this sheet? You can kind of see how I'm bending it. And if you are a Stampin' Up stamper, you know that we get this in our cases. We get a really flimsy one, and then we get a hard one. You can use that, yes, or you can go to the store and you can buy, look at this. This is simply letter size clear binding covers that I got at Office Depot. You get 20 count. It doesn't cost that much, and this is going to last you forever. And this is a super thick plastic that is perfect for shaker cards and also for this floating strip card. Now, the first thing you'll need to do, what we do is we go ahead and we cut, because we want to make 2 cards, we cut our mat of plastic the size that we would want it to be on our card. So this particular one is 5 1/4 by 4, and I'm going to lay it down right here on this piece of paper. You can see it, and I'm going to use my grid paper to get my lines straight. Now, what I did, you can see our strips right here. I went ahead and cut our scrap paper at 1/2 inch strips. So I'm going to work with you on that and show you how to do 1/2 inch strips. But you don't have to use 1/2 inch. You could use 1/4, whatever you feel comfortable with. Now, I start at the bottom and I line it up because I want ours to be in a straight line. And as you can tell, I've kind of done the sunset just a little bit because we are going to create a really pretty card that uses our palm leaves. Now, the other thing, you can use liquid glue or you can use a tape runner. whichever you like. And I just go ahead, and I knew this was going to happen, so I'm going to get my other glue. I just go ahead and I use liquid glue, and then I just glue it down on the strip on our mat. So we're just going to put a little bit, you don't have to put much, and just line it up with the bottom of your plastic mat. And there we have our first one. Now I want to make sure it gets lined up just exactly right, because you want to make sure that you start off with it straight and just push it down. And now I'm going to bring in another Daffodil Delight. I'm going to just put some glue on it. You don't have to put much. And I'm just going to go about 1/8 of an inch. And I can tell I'm straight. And because I'm using liquid glue, you still have a little bit of time to go ahead and maneuver. Hey, Glow! Now, the next one is, I believe, Melon Mambo. We're just going to come in. It's a little bit darker color. I'm going to just line that up, putting about 1/8 in between. This part goes fairly quickly. What you need to do is just get all your strips cut and then line it up. And one thing you want to make sure you do is, I forgot, I need to put this on my silicone mat, because if you get glue on the outside of this, it will stick to your paper, and you don't want that. So now that I have it going, I don't really need to see the straight line, because I can gauge it and I know how it needs to be straight. So I would recommend using your silicone mat so that it doesn't stick to your paper. We've all had that, right? And you just continue all the way up with these colors. And it is so pretty against our palm trees. Go ahead and get that. Now, when we finally get this cut, you might ask yourself, well, how are we going to adhere this to the card? Well, the way we're going to adhere it is we're going to use dimensionals, but I am going to show you the other strips that you can use. If you have those, they work great. And I really like just getting these all lined up perfectly. And because I used my liquid glue, I have a little bit of time. Now I went ahead and I cut some additional strips because I thought I might have one more area. So let's go ahead and get that lined up. And it's going to go off just a little bit. Now, typically what you would do is you would let this dry a little bit because the glue needs to dry, right? But we do have all this excess over on the edges. But my glue is not dry yet. But what I would do, I want to make sure, what I would do is I would go ahead and I would cut down the sides. Let's see if we can do that. You can see exactly where it is. There we go. So you can cut down the edges on both sides and create that mat that you want. And now all you would do is bring in your oval die and simply cut that out of the center. Now let me give you a few tips on that. You need to make sure once you let this dry really good so that it doesn't move around, that you run this through about 3 times. And when you bring it out, go ahead and leave this on it, and that will help you punch out your circle. You might have to bring in your scissors. There might be a few little places that you have to cut. It's not a big deal though. So that is what I recommend. Go ahead and leave this frame on and just punch it out, punch it down. But really make sure that these are dry first, because otherwise they're going to move around and you're not going to see that. So let's put that to the side, and I want to show you what one looks like that we already did. So what we did is we went ahead and made our mat, and we used 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch. And then we let it dry really well, and we pop this out. And now we can make 2 cards. You know what? The key is really letting it dry. Once you get that dry, then you can cut it, you can manipulate it, and you don't have to worry about it. I think that's really the key to make sure that you have a successful card. So now we're going to work with this one first, and we are bringing in just a white base card that's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and look what we've done. Oh my goodness, can you see that? We have embossed this sheet. Now this comes from the Honeybee Home Bundle, so we really, really love this. So we're going to go ahead and just lay that down. Get some glue, and when you're working with these 3D glues, you need to make these 3D embossing folders, you need to make sure that you really get the glue down into those crevices. So go ahead and just take your time when you're pressing this down so that it holds. Nothing worse than sending a card in the mail and it falls apart, right? Bye, Susan. Watch the replay for us. Thank you for stopping by. You sound busy. Okay. So now we have that done. So now let's go ahead and add this. Now remember, I told you I was going to show you. If you have these strips, they work great. They're perfect, and they are called foam adhesive strips. However, I'm going to go ahead and just use our dimensionals, and I'm just going to put them, strategically place them in different areas. Now the key to this is make sure that you cannot see the dimensionals. You want to make sure that they are inside enough that you don't see them, because that defeats the whole purpose, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just get my minis now and add some of the minis on these smaller strips, making sure that you cannot see. There we go. Get one up here, get 2 up here actually. And I think I'll put one, see, right there. Okay, just make sure they're pushed down on that plastic sheet. And now you can use your take your pick tool and go ahead and take off the backing. That makes it so easy. Okay, I think we have one more to get off. Okay. And now we're simply going to place this face down right in the center of our card. And we want to start with the lighter color at the bottom. Just get that lined up. And what we have done is we have used this amazing thanks. We love this die set. So if you have a die set that cuts out the word, but also cuts out the background. Oh goodness. I think it must have fallen on the floor. Oh, here it is. It was black. It just cuts out the background and cuts out the word. This is absolutely perfect for this. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Nouveau pen and just get some glue on this, and then we're going to lay down our wording. And you just start with one letter and make sure that it's perfect. As you go through, you can stretch it a little bit if you need to. And look at that. Now, we are also going to bring in a few of these beautiful flowers that we cut out using that Honeybee Home. So we're just going to add these, and I'm just going to take a little bit of this Nouveau glue again, and go over the edge because it is very thin. Just get a little bit of glue on that. Very lightly put it right there so that the flowers are up just a little bit. I'm going to bring in another one. Let's see, and get this about right there. And now we're simply going to lay Amazing over the top. And I'm going to go ahead and put dimensionals on either side, the mini dimensionals, just to give it, just to hold it there in place. And put a little bit of glue right there in the middle. So let's just glue this a little bit. Okay. And there we have it. I'm just going to put it right over the flowers. And look at the front of this card. Oh my goodness, I love this embossing. You just gave me, I have so much foil. I could use that acetate and tear and tape strips. Oh, that would be beautiful. Now let's go ahead and just lay down our mat on the inside, and we want to go ahead and color coordinate that. We like to lay down 2 mats just to really make it special. Then we're going to lay down a white piece. That's what's so wonderful about watching card shows. You get inspiration and you see something and then it inspires you to do something else, right? Okay, so we're just going to put this card to the side, and now we're going to start on our other card. Now remember, we cut the oval out of this one. Thank you, Patricia. We are simply going to now adhere this to a black card. Look at that. And once again, we are going to use some dimensionals, but I do want to show you how to use those strips. So they work really well. You just pull them off like this and make sure that you're in the middle of your area, and you can either use your fingernail just to cut it off or you can use a pair of scissors. So we'll go ahead and we'll put this one down here. And now I'm just going to come in with a few dimensionals. And you can use the big dimensionals because, once again, these are 1/2-inch strips. Let's see, let's get one right there. Right there. Put a few more. And I'm not going to put any right there because the first thing I need to do after we put some of the strips is I need to go ahead and get this decorated because I want to put my palm trees. Look at my palm trees. They're so pretty, but they need to be behind this. And so I'm going to go ahead and glue on my my palms. Let's get those glued on. Just put a little bit of glue right there. A little bit right there. Get those leaves on there. Get this one on there. And that way, that will allow me to cut it off before I put the dimensional right there. Now we need to go ahead and put our grass right here on the back. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right here. Not much, we don't need much. You can use your tape runner. I'm going to get a little bit of glue right there. Now, so there we have our grass, and now I simply need to bring this in and get it glued where we want it. Then we can add this to our card. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this one like right here. Let's see. I think I need to make it not quite so tall. So there we go. Let me see if I have a tape runner that works. I'm not sure. Nope. I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of glue. Just going to put a little bit of glue right there. Bring this through the center, and I'm going to just glue that down right there. Oh, he didn't stick. Let's just give him a minute more. There we go. And now I'm going to take this palm tree and I'm going to go ahead and stick it about right there. So, Maudie brought me a tape runner. So I have tape runner. There we go. Works a little bit better than the glue. It certainly works faster. I'm going to drop that down just a little bit. And now I simply need to turn it over and cut the branches off. Cut this tree trunk off just a little bit so it doesn't go past the grass. Oh my goodness, look at that. And now we're ready to add this to the front of our card. Look how pretty that looks, right? Now, let's go ahead and add just a few more dimensionals. Let's see. Maybe one right there. Maybe one right here. Because you want to make sure that it really adheres to your card. Okay, and let's just take off the backing. Now remember, stay with us because I have one more card to show you that turned out so pretty. And on this, you just have to lift off the little bitty strip that comes with it. Okay, so we are simply going to lay this down in the front of our card, center it, push it down, and we are not going to glue down our palm trees so that they can kind of appear 3D, right? We're going to decorate the inside of our card. Let's lay this down. Okay. Hey, Denise from sunny California. Oh my goodness. You're probably having wonderful weather. Okay, and now on this one, we are going to put our message right here, and it's going to be, hope you find a little paradise wherever you may be. And we're going to go ahead and stamp this in green. Let's get that ready. Just going to stamp off first to make sure that we have a good stamp. Okay, yes we do. And I'm going to just put it right here in the bottom right hand corner. And there we have it. Now, you can put a sentiment on the front if you want, but I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to mess up that beautiful, beautiful palm tree scene that we have going on. Now, on this one, I think I want to bring in some dots and just put a few dots here just to give it some more interest. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's put one right there. And I always like to do a triangle because that keeps your eyes moving. So let's go ahead and do that maybe right there. And we'll do another one right there. And there we have it. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Let's see. There are our cards. What do you think about those cards? Now, I think the key point when you're doing these strips is make sure that you lay the strips down on your plastic and you let them dry. That's very, very important. Then you can add a sentiment on the inside. And you make 2 cards with one mat. Now, I want to go ahead and show you the other cards that we made. So here they are. Let's get them right here. Now look at this card. We cut 2 circles, a large one and a smaller one, and we decorated. Can you look at the theme we have? We obviously want to be where there's palm trees and it's sunny, right? Little piece of paradise. Okay, so, and look at these beautiful ferns that we have. Then you open it up and we have some more palm trees. Once again, we let this dry quite a bit before we put it in our cut and emboss machine. And then we have this one. This one simply came out of the big circle and we used it to mat the entire card. We simply cut out the sending, put smiles across the miles, and then matted the inside. Now we still have a little bit left over from that one that had the small circle. So we can certainly make a card out of this one, maybe put it this way and put a little saying in there. So we are very excited about this technique. We love it. Okay, so let me see. Okay, crafting friends, don't you love this technique? It's a great way to use your scraps that you have. Of course, you know, we went ahead and made ours even. We put 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch. Great way to use your scraps. And so much fun. So long as you let it dry, I think that will solve any problems that you have. We certainly appreciate your sharing your morning with us. Please remember that on Thursday, we are live at 7 p.m. and we have another terrific card to share with you. Help us grow our channel. Please share with all your crafting friends. We just appreciate and love you guys so much. We want you to go out and have a fantastic day, and we hope to see you Thursday. Bye-bye.